Alright lads, we're back again. This week we're back for Dana White's Contender series. Week 1, episode 1. We have 5 fights on this first card, so we're just not going to waste any time. We're going to go straight into it. We're going to start with Mastat Talahaya versus Banskyor Skar. Let's just call him Baskor. I wanted to start by talking about Baskor first. I think Baskor is, in the best terms to put it, a very stat-padded 8-0. If we look at his record here, that Shane fight is probably his closest fight, and that was his only decision on his resume. You look into it more here, and he's fought a load of these, like 3-8. Finished him in the first round, but you're 3-0, 4-6 at 5. Of course, these aren't really normal stuff. Now, of course, from a lot of these fights, I do have a lot of things here. He does have decent kicks. He's able to hold quite good positions. He's able to keep distance with them. His chin is very hittable. He does hold his chin up very high when he comes in to strike. He doesn't have the greatest hands on planet Earth. His striking is okay, but his greatest hands aren't great. Allows a lot of positions on the ground. When he kind of rolls there, he gets caught in a lot of submissions. That Shane fight is a very good example of that. I'd say Shane in one round landed about 5 submission attempts because every single time he hit the mat, Banskor didn't really try to move, or Baskor. He gives up ground positions, allows his opponents to get up too easy. Once he actually got on top of Shane, he was in top mount, but let Shane just straight back up to his feet very easily. Definitely the cardio issue inside that fight. Again, he's only gone to decision once and barely makes out of the first round, so that makes sense. He doesn't really have too much experience. His grappling can be okay, and it's just a can-crushing sort of record. To be Russian, not the greatest wrestling on planet Earth, and will make some very stupid decisions with like spinning attacks as well. Will try just kind of the most random shit. You're kind of just sitting there like, why the fuck did he throw that? You know, it's just some of those things where I do think he's one of these stat-padded Russians that's coming onto this show with a lot of hype. That's why he's the clear favourite. But I am actually going to go with the underdog here. I'm going to go with Mastas Tahaila, who's actually already been on the Contender series. He lost to Rodolfo Vieira, or Rodolfo Belanto, may I say, in, okay, a bad loss, but he took some crazy damage. I'm saying that if he comes against another fighter, like the, real sort of way that Baskar fights, from what I've been able to see, Baskar genuinely could struggle if he's not able to put him out, and he took a lot of damage in that fight. I understand he did get finished, but that was a solid nearly 3 minutes in the clinch, getting absolutely barred by the cage. Now, being fair to Daila, both of them haven't really beaten massive amount of success. You can see with the records here though, even in his first fight he fought 5-1, 4-1, 6-1. He did fight an 0-0, randomly 3-0, but then like 6-1 again, and 10-2, obviously 8-2, and then 0-4 in his last one. Again, the legitimacy of that is a bit odd. I have seen the fight. I will be honest, with two of these fighters, both of them, they do have, like, their opponents do quit in some of these instances really easy. It's almost like a Bob Sapp sort of, like, just one strike dropped mat. No. It's one of those type of things. But look, I'll be honest here. I did think off the bat as I was watching these, Tahala in some of his fights, even though he gets the finish, he did look a bit slow on his feet, like in that Krulel fight here. I think he kind of came in, he looked a bit slow, he wasn't really moving the feet, he didn't have great rest and defense either, reckless in his striking, wild swings when he was in it, not great distance management. But as I started to watch more and more, I thought, oh yeah, this is going to be it. But when he gets into the clinch, that man, like, to be honest, has some crazy good short uppercuts. He can get you to the mat. He can definitely land a lot more in the clinch. He's one of those ones where it's kind of, not smart exactly with getting hurt. He will dive and will shoot, but he has a good chin. It's one of those ones where he can take a lot of damage. He can make a fight very gritty. His wrestling isn't spectacular, but I don't think either men's wrestling inside this fight is going to be exactly spectacular. I think it's one of these things where who can make it more gritty, who can win the 15 minutes. That's Tahalia for me. I think he's able to hold it out. I think he's able to land the bigger strikes, the shorter, dirtier strikes in close, elbows and uppercuts coming in to kind of catch him on kind of the back foot almost when they get him in close. So I'm going to take Tahalia off the first one. Next, we move into Christian Uret versus Yori. Now, to be fair, Christian Uret to me really kind of reminds me of Barramondos, but not on the same skill level, of course, because Barramondos is basically top 15 in his division. For me, James Irvine is okay. He has a 78-inch reach. He's 6'1". He's definitely a great kickboxer. His get-ups are good, his striking was decent. From what I was able to find, the Reese fight and the Chalmers fight were the only real two I was able to find. I was able to find, I think, the Jimmy fight as well, so I did see him go with the decision. He has beaten some guys that are okay. He leaves holes on the ground for me. Getting up, he's not bad, but he does leave some holes. He definitely makes quite a few mistakes on the ground. It's kind of one of those ones where he could have you in a single leg and you're not pushing the head down, you're kind of accepting it, kind of waiting to get taken down to try to get up. Even though he's a good kickboxer, in my opinion, there wasn't a lot of footwork. He wasn't really bouncy, he didn't really move around correctly. He was kind of just the person to kind of stand in front of you and hope just to land. He does have strong hands. It's one of those ones where it's kind of hard to say what will happen if he hits the mat. I think he's very accepted to stay there if he hits the mat. Fury FC have not exactly grown great fighters recently either. He is someone that will accept bottom position, which isn't a good thing in my opinion, and I think that's going to be his downfall here against Yuri, the polar bear. I think that Yuri's going to take this one. I think Yuri has the obviously decent wrestling. His chin is very high in a lot of his fights, and he is very hittable. It's one of those ones where Can Crushers, he does a very weak sort of stuff. He's been finished by Therese Finney, so obviously that's not a great look off the bat. The records of people he's fought aren't great. Brian here is actually probably one of the more interesting opponents he's fought, because Brian is 47, and at the time they fought he would have been either 44 or 45, and you could tell that by watching that fight. I genuinely thought he had bad genetics. No, it was clear that he was that fucking old. I was like, oh, alright. His overuse of wrestling, Yuri, is something that does let him down. You see a lot of ground and pound and punches. It's more because he keeps trying to shoot and shoot and shoot. Now, I think that's actually going to be his greatest weapon inside this fight. I think this is the thing that will probably win him this fight, is just being able to shoot and shoot and shoot, with Irvine not having the greatest takedown defense and not really being able to stuff the head or stuff takedowns. It's one of those things where I think he's really going to struggle. I think Yuri will be able to take him down, dominate him pretty easily. Neither fighter here, I think, is getting a contract. I'll say that off the bat. I don't think Yuri's going to put in enough of a performance that would be anywhere near interesting enough for the UFC to pull the trigger on him. I don't see that happening. I don't see that coming true at all. I think the only ones getting contracts, out of the two we've called, I do think the high level will get one. Next, going to Jimmy Drango versus Ty Miller. Jimmy Drango, I really thought sounded like a Crash Bandicoot villain, or like some sort of like Disney villain in the 90s from like Australia, because that's genuinely what the lad sounds like. To be honest, to me it was quite hard to find actual Jimmy fights, so this won't be the most comprehensive stuff. The only fights I could really find from were the Robinson fight, the Alonzo Turner fight, and that's basically it. It's quite hard to actually find most of his footage. From what I was able to find from him is that he does swing a bit wild when you're inside his inside the distance as such. He will just swing overhands. He's a bit reckless when it actually gets to it. His striking isn't exactly polished. The Alonzo Turner fight kind of showed that, but he does have like actual okay sort of power when he's in there. When he lands, it's clear. His grappling's questionable. His footwork leaves to be desired. His grappling is kind of hard to say what he's going to actually do if he gets into a clinch with someone, and I think that that's going to be something that probably won't benefit him, if we're being honest, more than likely inside a fight like this. I don't have a lot to say about Jimmy, because to be honest I couldn't find the majority of his fights. So we'll move over to Ty Miller. Ty Miller's coming off LFA, so questionable to me, but from what I was able to find, I was able to find the Ryan Bruce fight, the Arthur fight, and the few boxing fights that he's had. This is actually just two former boxers going against each other as well, so that could be a really interesting one. Miller, to me, had decent footwork. Of course, former boxers, stand-up is to be expected. He had the better footwork, he had the better stand-up. I thought that he looked really good in stand-up, because obviously, you know, he's a former boxer, both them actually are. It was powerful hands that he had. I thought he showed a lot of actual power, a lot of precision, but again, LFA, it's hard to say. I do believe that he's the better fighter between the two here. I do think he's the person to probably get the contract, and I do think he's the person to probably go through here. I don't think he gets the contract on the show, but I do think he wins this fight. I just don't know about it. Next, we move into George Mangos. So, yeah, personally to me, I think this man's going to put on the best fight in the whole card. I was able to find nearly everything he had in Eternal. He's had he's had a belt since 2024. He's defended it. He's had well, yeah, no, he has technically had a belt for 4 fights, but it only says that he's defended it once, so I'm not sure. But with decent striking, from what fights I was able to find him on, I was able to find all of these fights here. This head kick against Tamata was absolutely fucking class. That head kick's really, really good. Mangos here really does mix in wrestling and his subs and takedowns really well. He's one of the best I've probably seen out of all the people here. This Jared Wambet one kind of shows that he was starting to absolutely land with him, then take him down and switch into a rear naked. Then when he almost had that gun, he almost slipped off the top, he grabbed the arm, he almost had an arm bar. He's definitely very, very good on the ground. I don't really see how he loses this fight, to be genuinely honest. I will talk about Randall De Silva. Randall De Silva's coming from Canada. To be honest, I do think that Randall Silva might be one of the worst fighters that we've seen in this card. This man is the epitome of Canadian regional scene, like Mike Malott sort of stuff, like that woman last year couldn't strike. He makes a lot of mistakes and is very stiff on his feet. He looks very slow on his feet, very hittable. He has good kicks, but that's kind of it, to be genuinely honest. From watching all of these fights here, like the spinning wheel kick is some good example against Drake Randall. He threw about 5 or maybe 6 spinning attacks in the first round. A majority of them did not land. I promise you, if he does this against Mangos will take him down rear naked, tappity tappity tap, good night Irene. I genuinely believe that Randall De Silva has no way to actually win this fight if he comes in with the same game plan that he has in like the whole regional scene. He's very hittable, chin stays up high, slow on the feet, spins and does not land stuff. He makes clearly very bad mistakes for someone who's on such a title run, but it's the Canadian regional scene, so it's not rocket science. I'm going to pick Mangos inside this fight, and we move into the main event. Now, Ilian Balfua is probably actually a really, really good prospect from what I was able to find from all of his fights. This Paul Baligan fight, the Carlos Franco Carama fight, they're all really, really good. He has fast takedowns, he's light on his feet, he was able to hold up power with his hands, he picks shots perfectly, it's really, really good time, and his shots are picked really, really well. That Francesco Camara fight showed that. He's able to he doesn't rush, he's not someone that makes stupid mistakes. When he sees openings, he takes them, he starts to wham onto you, he starts hitting you straight in the face. He keeps his punches straight, he doesn't whip them, he doesn't whip them over to the side. He's light on his feet, he bounces around, he keeps it up. I don't see any difference here. You can see how many KOs he has. He did fight 1-5 as his debut, but again, this isn't very, very far off boxing. I'm not going to act like you don't fight some of these people when you do. He's probably his biggest promotion probably is Aries, considering he's fought there 3 times. He has controlled time. He takes his stuff well. Good takedown defense. I can't really see him losing this main event against Nemesis Nurse Santana over here. Look, personally, he's coming off LFA. I never really rate too much of LFA. I can find a majority of his fights. He's definitely the type of heavyweight that the UFC want. He's kind of Alex Pereira-esque. He has power. He does keep his hands down quite a bit. His chin is very hittable. He's reckless when it comes to it. He'll just keep swinging, which could be a very, very big downfall for him because of Ilya what was his name? If Bafumia catches him here, he'll definitely be able to knock him out. He'll definitely be able to knock him down and knock him out. I don't think there's a ground game between either two of these, to be honest, and I do think that it's Bafumia based off what I've been able to see by Santana. I think he's reckless. I think he makes a lot of mistakes. But if you did enjoy the video, please hit the like button. I will be back again for these next week. There's about 55% of you who aren't actually subscribing when you watch these videos, so please, if you're watching it right now, please hit the subscribe button. You won't regret it. I do make a lot of MMA videos. I make good tips most weeks. So yeah, all that being said, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.